Hello, scholars. This week we're going to be learning about a type of art known as Surrealism. And this is a type of art where artists took their subconscious thought, those are their thoughts, ideas, and images that they didn't mean to think of, but they just kind of popped in there anyways, and then they put them to paper with their paint. And a lot of times these images came from the artist's dreams. So this week we're going to be talking about how we can paint our own dreams and help tell some of those stories that go on while we're asleep. So the first artist we're going to look at is an artist whose name is Salvador Dali. And Salvador Dali might be an artist you've heard of before. He's very, very famous. He painted this picture about 100 years ago, and this is a painting of a dream. And you can see it's really kind of a bizarre picture. We can see the head of a dog up here in the corner. It almost looks like it's in the middle of this strange desert. We can see what looks like sand, but it almost looks like a tabletop as well down on the bottom. And that turns into the face of a person, but that also kind of looks like a glass holding a bunch of fruits, maybe pears, or maybe they're peanuts because they're brown and they're shaped like that. We're not really sure because when you have a dream and you wake up from that, you don't always remember everything that happened in that dream. Sometimes it seems really, really real, and sometimes it seems very bizarre. And that's what the surrealist paintings were all about, is they were painting kind of the strangest things that would come to their mind while they were asleep and dreaming. Now, one thing that I've been learning about a lot while we've been home for this quarantine doing some long distance learning is that people's dreams lately, you might have found it happening to you too, are becoming very vivid. That means they seem really real and they're colorful and they can get really, really strange. This is another painting by Salvador Dali of a dream he had about a ship that instead of having sails, the sails were actually made of butterflies. And it's really kind of a nice dream and kind of a beautiful image. So what we're going to be doing this week is we're going to be recording a dream, or maybe just thinking of a dream you've had before, maybe a dream you have this week, and then paint it, even if it's really bizarre, like this ship with butterfly sails, or perhaps you have a dream that seems very, very real, except maybe something that seems ordinary is happening. Um, but the way that it's happening is very strange and very surreal. This is a painting by an artist whose name is Rene Magritte, and he painted this really, really fantastic image of just a neighborhood where he lived, and it seems to be raining businessmen instead of raindrops. Now, while the picture is painted very realistically, and these look like real people and real buildings, the things happening in the picture are things that could only happen in a dream. And Magritte and Salvador Dali were not the only artists who painted their dreams. A very famous artist by the name of Marc Chagall painted wonderful images of dream-like fantasies that he would have, like this goat man playing a fiddle and a fish playing some sort of instrument or holding a candle and these people flying through the sky, floating above the city. Or the dreams could seem even more realistic. Maybe you're just dreaming and you're yourself, but you're in a different place. This is a painting by an artist whose name is Henri Rousseau. He was a French painter, and he painted these very, almost they seem like quiet, dreamlike images. And this is a painting that he made of just a woman sleeping in an open desert with a lion standing next to her. Now, in real life, this could be a very dangerous situation, but in a dream, it seems very peaceful and very quiet. I would imagine when he had this dream, he probably got a very good night's sleep. So, what I want you to do is I want you to think about a dream that you've had, or maybe a dream that you'd like to have. And we're going to paint a picture of that dream, and we're going to call it our surrealist paintings or dream paintings, just like Salvador Dali, Rene Magritte, and Henri Rousseau. So let's take a look at what that might look like. All right, scholars, so here's how we're going to complete our surrealist painting dreams here in Seesaw. So as usual, you'd see this assignment on your journal or on your activities list. Go to add response, pick your name. I have a fake scholar here. And for this one, I'm going to want you to choose a drawing. Make sure you pick that drawing tool so that you're able to draw and paint your picture the same way that the surrealists would have. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my painting tools. to paint my negative space first. Now, when I was thinking about the dreams that I've been having lately, one dream that seems to recur a lot is I have a lot of dreams about food. And one dream I had last week was a dream that I had about donuts. And I really enjoy donuts, but I haven't been able to have a lot of them since we've been home on the quarantine. So one of the dreams that I had involved me in a field full of donut plants. It was almost as if the grass was growing donuts. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint my sky and my grass here. Hopefully you guys can see the tools that I'm using. I'm making my paintbrush nice and big to paint my negative space first. It's okay if I lose a little bit of the grass there. So I have a nice sky. The weather was pretty nice in my dream, I think. It's hard to remember all the details of a dream, so if you need to make some of this up, that's absolutely okay. Artists that we learned about who were surrealist painters, Salvador Dali was really well known for keeping a journal next to his bed. And he would actually write down the dreams that he had so that he would remember them and be able to add them to his pictures later on while he was painting them. So in my picture, I have my setting here. But I don't have all the details I need quite yet because my dream was about a field growing with donuts. So I'm just going to draw some donuts, little donut plants here in the fields. And they all look delicious. There were all sorts of different kinds of donuts. There were strawberry donuts and glazed donuts and chocolate donuts. Obviously, if I were doing this for a grade, I would want to slow down and take my time and really put in as many details as possible. I'm just gonna hurry up with some of these donuts so that I can get on to the next part of my painting. So here are the donuts, and that was part of my dream, is this big field of donuts. But then I was also a part of my dream. And when you guys are painting your dream pictures, you might find that you are a really important part of that dream picture. So I'm gonna draw me, and in my dream, I was actually kind of flying. I was floating above this giant field of donuts. I wasn't quite flying in the way that I could control it. I was kind of floating above the field. And one of the unfortunate things that happened is I couldn't I couldn't get close enough to the grass to eat any of the donuts. So it was kind of a frustrating dream. Not really a bad one, but not really a good one either. And I kept reaching and reaching because I really, really wanted a donut. And you can see my face here is not looking so happy while I reach down for those donuts and I don't quite get there. Now again, I don't remember what I was wearing in the dream, so I'm just gonna kind of guess. Maybe I was wearing a purple shirt in the dream. Maybe I was wearing a pair of blue jeans. So I can draw those details in. Remember, if there's something you don't remember from a dream, that's totally normal. Dreams are a lot of times really hard to remember. So I'm just going to draw me kind of floating above this field of donuts. Here are my blue jeans, my pants as I'm floating up here in the sky. Maybe I'm wearing a pair of black shoes. And this is obviously kind of a fantastic image. This isn't something that would really, really happen. I can't actually fly above a field of donuts. I wouldn't even know where to find one. But I could add some things to my picture just to make it a little more interesting. Maybe I want to take some ideas from Vincent van Gogh and maybe have some pattern in the sky to make my picture a little bit more interesting. I noticed a lot of times in those surrealist paintings, there might be things in there that don't seem to make sense at all. So maybe down here in my donut field, maybe there's a pink rabbit just sitting down here in the donuts. That's obviously something I would only see in a dream. In real life, rabbits come in a lot of different colors, but I've never seen or heard of a pink one before. So I think that's definitely something that would match my dream and seem like a dreamlike image and definitely make my picture a little bit more interesting here. So while you're making your dream images this week, before you send them to me, just make sure you add a lot of dreamlike details. I want to be able to look at your picture and say, hey, that's not something that would really happen in real life. That's definitely straight out of a dream. Remember, after you're done drawing your picture, if you have any questions or you're stuck, you can always go up here where it says view instructions and you can watch that video again to make sure that you're doing it the right way, that you're doing it correctly. and then make sure you click that green check mark in the corner. That'll send your work to me, and I can't wait to see it. See you next time.